now. I will be going to the store and just giving them my camera and saying, fix this. Whatever it takes, just fix this.
Well,
so if you ask me again in 3 days, I'll have a different answer.
I'll ask in 3 days, but right now all focus is on our winners bracket final, I guess, and King Tower activation there with the drill being slightly on the inside up against NATO. Mugi can't be happy about that early of a King Tower activation here, but either way, here we go. Winner will move on to our overall grand final with a life to give. So the winner here has the huge advantage in not just winning $15,000, but also with that golden ticket trip to World Finals directly. The loser has to go down and play Mohamed Light to come back into the mix. So this is a pretty big matchup here between our defending world champion and Viiper, who was top 4 in the regular season last year for CRL, went to World Finals and got absolutely obliterated in the opening game, in the opening match of World Finals. Didn't make it past the first round, and as he talked about that match against Hajime, he said on 3 Crowns, the show that Josh, Andrew, Eric, and I do together every 2 weeks in the Clash Royale official YouTube channel, Viiper said the big problem there was he didn't have an analyst, and he didn't really prepare appropriately for World Finals. Now he has an analyst, and that's why you see him here in the top 3 for this event, and he's going to be in the top 8 for the Snapdragon Pro Series. So even if he doesn't win a golden ticket today, he has a shot at a golden ticket again in a couple weeks here in June.
And while I was listening to everything, I was just kind of like, just paying attention to your voice and not really paying attention to the game. Viiper going to be running XE NATO Hog, so this is always exciting for Viiper fans and just fans of great gameplay in general. It is always beautiful. It always makes my my toes warm on a cold night whenever I get to see Viiper play this deck.
And it's an interesting question, right? Because there might be matchups, and I don't know all the Hog X NATO matchups. There might be some matchups that are bad for Hog X NATO. Always take 10% off of that matchup rating, maybe more, when it's Viiper who's playing Hog X NATO.
Because every matchup is already, 50-50 at best. So, it is not a good deck, in my opinion. But he makes it work, so, I will, I'll allow it for sure.
Rocket just gets the Magic Archer here, so not quite what he would have liked, but either way, as we go into sudden death overtime, the game very tight, 26-42 to 26-18, as Viper's forced to spend the Tesla against that Royal Ghost. And Mugi sets up the Golden Knight into that left-hand lane. Playing away from his weak side right now is the Japanese pro.
It's cool to see 2 players who really respect each other's gameplay, because most games are already over. And with this, both players are so terrified of making any kind of mistake that they are willing to have the game get to 1 minute and 30 seconds left before either player has made that crazy play in total. Both players are content with just waiting it out and then just kind of figuring it out once Triple Elixir happens.
And now here we get aggressive with Golden Knight Magic Archer drop right at the bridge, and there goes Mugi getting some geometry in, 1649, and just like that, he has the lead, and the Hog coming in the opposite direction. Tesla high, trying to support a little bit, and look at that. The NATO play, and now you talked about it, Josh, they were waiting, but now the fancy play is coming out here in Triple Elixir. Keep an eye on what both these guys do here in the final moments, and that drill goes right into an Executioner. No damage there from Mohamed Light. Hog in the opposite direction. Log trying to make some room. Not going to make a whole lot, but of course, ex-NATO pull stuff together, and that's going to be a great Magic Archer to get 2 shots here on that right-hand tower. 13:31, final 30 seconds. Josh on that left-hand side, Magic Archer going, and here comes the Rocket Cycle. Viper trying to put the pressure on. Keep an eye on the middle of the board here as Viper plays through these moments. Big control issues for him. He has to control the middle of the board. We've seen him do it with Hog and with Execution a couple of times, and just like that, drill in. Valk trying to work. Magic Archer doesn't get a shot. Does get one lineup. Does not get the second lineup. Log, can it get there in time? Log plus NATO, and Viper steals it in the final seconds. That's the guy who does that with this deck. Nobody can play Hog X Nato the way that man does it right there. #1 finisher on ladder, 60 HP win. Oh my word! Viiper just put on a clinic. Make a note here to go get that. Tell Nick, Josh, tell Nick he has to go get that clip first, please, because
okay.
My word. I'm gonna DM him right now. Get that prediction NATO finish by Viiper versus Mugi. I just DM'd Nick. Tell him I DM'd him.
Okay.
Yeah, if you guys don't know this, God RF, the best splash art player in the history of the game, #1 finisher on ladder, whatever, is also an intern for the Aftershock Media Group AMG's production department that I run. So I sometimes get to tell Nick that he needs to go do work. It's pretty fun.
He actually loves it when you do that. He gets really excited when he sees your messages.
I can't tell if that's sarcasm or not, but I'm going to take it as, I'm going to say it's earnest.
Take it however you would like.
Flying Machine just hanging out in the middle. Arrows, not the greatest counter for Flying Machine, so Viiper has to either eat that damage, and he will take the 2 shots from the ceiling fan, as I believe that's what Sir Tag calls it. And first 90 seconds away. No significant damage, although a few hundred HP taken off both sides by Mugi.
Mugi going to be running the Royal Recruits Royal Hogs. No Fireball was used, and that's often... We see the Fireball used, and the next game we see Royal Recruits. We don't often see it when it's available because it struggles so much. But at the end of the day, it's a great ladder deck overall. Like, you can use it even when Fireball is the matchup. And that almost makes it more exciting to use it in these, because right here we see it. No Fireball in cycle, and it's a pretty solid matchup. The Flying Machine, every time it gets played, Viiper only has one response to the Flying Machine. Arrows plus Snowball does not take it out fully, so he needs the Musketeers to be taking it out. Every time he graveyards, the Flying Machines will come in low, and they will be able to stop the graveyards from getting pretty much any chip whatsoever. So it's going to be interesting to see how he wants to approach the Flying Machine on defense, and how, like, when he's going to decide to use his graveyard.
And Mugi splits a 6-man 3-3. Right there in the middle. A lot of clogging going to be happening here. Fireball does make a nice little pathway there for the Flying Machine. Pigs behind the recruits. And Mugi just pouring the pressure on this right-hand side. Not much Viiper can do right now, but sit and stare.
Here we go. This might be the one push. You have the Golden Knight. You have the 6-man, the 4-man coming down on the right lane, plus the cannon cart. Will the graveyard come out at 5? It does. Is it going to be enough? Is he going to be able to do anything with the bar barrel plus the tower plus the cannon, or plus the Flying Machine? Looks like that's not going to be the case. Viper's shaking his head in frustration. At this point, it's clear what's going to happen, what the end result is going to be. It's just a matter of time before he gets those Royal Hogs to get enough chip.
And now a Flying Machine on tower as well. Nothing anywhere near it. GG, well played. Viiper gonna hang on here for a half second. Play of the game, or play of the day, and some people calling it maybe play of the year in chat right now, with Viiper taking the end of game #1. Game #2, Mugi just slams the door, and barring a disconnect from Mugi or an alien abduction, we'll be going to game 3 here in a couple minutes.
Yeah. The only thing we can really do at this point, if you want Viiper to win, is just study up on his previous deck and make sure that there's no repeated cards. I think that's the only play for Viiper at that point.
Yeah. GG, well played. After the excitement of game #1, game #2 shut down by Mugi. And here we go.
Heavily recommended to get it as early as possible.
So here we go, game #3, and a big game 3 at that. I do think I might have gotten someone to clip that finish, so we'll see if we do. If we do get that, I'll go ahead and replay it here at the end of the match. Mugi going with bait as we go into our game 3. And Viiper going with Minor Loon.
Wow.
Fascinating.
Minor Loon against Bait Inferno Tower. Minor to take the aggro, but with the Loon not nerf, but, you know, change up to how it actually works, that's not really going to be the most effective play. The Minor, it's, you know, the Loon doesn't do enough damage to towers anymore. And so kind of a wasted opportunity right there. I would have liked to see him, you know, just kind of have the push die. Overall, not the end of the world. You just have to be careful because every time you make any kind of incorrect push, that's going to be one more Goblin Barrel that you have to struggle with. You cycle the Bar Barrel, and then he has the Dark Goblin roam free. Every play has to be the correct one when you're going against a bait deck with Inferno, and you don't have a Zap or Lightning or a Freeze.
Mother Witch, an interesting wrinkle in this one. So that creates some interesting difference in pressure here. And Giant Skeleton does get in front of the Mother Witch. So this is a pretty big pressure play. Nice delivery at the bridge there from Mugi to take care of the Mother Witch. And a full bait push the opposite direction. Giant Skeleton does not quite get in range. Minor gets its damage, but that bait push on the left is way more impactful. And you see Viiper not happy about it.
Wow, just a huge mistake right there. The Dark Goblin plus the Goblin Barrel, the push of his life right there. I mean, the Mother Witch, as great as it is, it gets sniped by the delivery. I mean, an unreal delivery placement. Snipes the Mother Witch with the drop down plus push, and you know, he does have the Zap. I don't think it's going to be enough. The Dark Goblin plus the Fire Spirit might even get the bomb out of range. Wow.
Yeah, almost a strange Zap here. Better have Bar Barrel in cycle and goes to the inside, only gets one there. So little misread there by Viiper. You can see he's not happy with the way that this game is going. Interesting to go with Minor Giant Skeleton Loon in this situation. Viiper trying to be unpredictable, clearly. Fishboy does take care of the Inferno Tower. Zap in, but Rocket will go the opposite direction. GG, well played. Mugi going to our grand final. Guaranteed minimum of $10,000, a chance at 15, and if Mo